Hello and welcome to Saints Live, the final whistle. I'm Steve Forbes.
And I'm Kenzie Benali.
And an unlucky afternoon for Southampton as Aston Villa win 1-0 here at St Mary's in the Premier League. Fans voicing their displeasure at the referee at full time as well, which we'll get onto very soon. We're joined again by Dean Hammond and Paul Belverston. Belvers, what did you make of the game?
Disappointed, but it was about 450,000 times better than the performance at Villa Park earlier this season. There was plenty on show out there, spirit-wise, performance-wise. Villa, first of all, are good. They are going to pick up a lot of points this season. They've got an excellent manager who's seen unfairly as a bit of a failure because of his time at Arsenal, but he took over in a very difficult situation. First man in after Arsene Wenger's 300 years in charge, so that was never going to be an easy task. And you look at the rest of his CV, he's been very successful everywhere, and he's got them well organised. They're very difficult to get past, and they create stuff as well. Although the stats, a lot of people I think will look at the stats and see 16 shots for Villa and 8 for Southampton, half of those 8 coming in the last 5 minutes or so. They'll think that it was one-way traffic. I don't remember any good chances for Villa apart from one save from Bazunu early on and then the goal. Emi Martinez is annoyingly good as a sweeper keeper. Blimey, he was always mopping up everything. And then the goals. We'll talk about the goals, and I'm going to say 2 goals because there were 2 goals in that game. But, you know, very disappointing way to concede and a very disappointing way to have a goal chalked off.
Yeah, Dean, Southampton will remain in the relegation zone after this loss, but as Paul said, you didn't really see a lot from Villa during that second period. It seemed to be mostly Southampton.
I agree with Belvers, I agree with you, Steve. I think it was an even game, really. Aston Villa are a good team, well organised. They keep the ball very well, actually, frustrate you. Don't create a lot of chances, though. So I thought it was an even game, and I'm disappointed for the players, obviously, because like we say, we'll come into it. I think it's a goal for Southampton, and then to concede from a set piece again is a disappointment because that is one improvement that is needed. Because we spoke about it before the game, a clean sheet would have been good today. But you can't fault the players again for their effort, their endeavour, their willingness to run and try and win the game. 2 goals disallowed today, a brilliant save from Martinez from Adam Armstrong, which if that had gone in would have changed the game. So it was very, very even. And what I liked is I saw at the end that the fans clapped the players off. You know, the fans are frustrated with the referee, and rightly so, because he had a tough afternoon. But they showed the players the appreciation today of the effort they put in, and sometimes you really can't control the result. And this is one of those days. So you have to take it on the chin, you have to dust yourself down and move on as quickly as you possibly can. But the disappointment will be conceding from a set piece. I think personally that is the disappointment, because you don't want to lose a game from conceding from a set piece.
Well, drone aside, there wasn't too much to talk about from the first half. A penalty appeal for Villa and a disallowed goal for Saints. Belvers, what did you make of those?
My heart was in my mouth with the penalty appeal. Gavin Bazunu, I thought, in fairness, he got a good hand to it. You could see the angle, the ball went away. It must have been down to him, but equally it was sort of, you know, there was a cigarette paper, wasn't there? It was very, very tight. But, you know, fair play to him. He was brave. He came out and he got the ball. But yeah, I don't want to see him charging out quite like that too often, particularly because I'm not sure there was an awful lot of danger in that position. Was it Jacob Ramsey who'd come through? But as far as the disallowed goal for Southampton, unfortunately it was the right call. A bit of a peculiar attempted finish by Shea Adams. It sort of reminded me of the one at Wolves, really. He got there and then looked a bit clumsy, bundled it over Martinez, and then Kyle Walker-Peters knocked it in when it was already over the line. So when they immediately said, oh look, we're checking for offside, you thought, oh, that's okay, because if it's Walker-Peters, it's already over the line. He was just sort of making sure, wasn't trying to snatch the goal, and then you realise that actually when the ball's played, they were both offside. So yeah, it was a shame because it was a good move, and the ball in, was it from Lianco, was a tremendous ball in as well. So that was a positive, that move, but quite the right decision.
Well, we'll get onto that drone incident now. Highly unusual. The players taken off the pitch for around about 10 minutes because that drone was flying above the stadium. Now, the first half wasn't brimming with quality, Dean, but I can imagine that stoppage of play definitely didn't help.
No, it wouldn't have, Steve. And I've not seen anything like that before. Obviously with the drone, whoever spotted it has got brilliant vision and should be a midfield player, to be honest, because I couldn't even see it when someone pointed it out to me. So yeah, it's difficult when it's a distraction. You go off the pitch, you come a little bit cold, you lose a little bit of concentration, and then you have to come back on and play 6-7 minutes of the first half. It's difficult, but like Belver said, there wasn't much in the first half really, and both sets of players would have wanted the referee just to blow the whistle and then get into half time officially and then get on with the second half. So the first half was even. The goal was rightly disallowed. Unfortunately, we're all celebrating it. It would have been, would have Southampton deserved that? Probably not, but it was an even game and there wasn't many chances in it. But coming out second half, I still had that belief that Southampton were going to go on and win it. And, Nathan made a tactical change at half time, which I think helped. He changed the shape, which I think really, really helped. And they got a little bit more control of the ball. Because in the first half, Aston Villa, if they did have one thing, was possession of the ball and kind of controlled the game without really creating a lot. So the drone would have distracted the players, and it's a unique thing, but I'm sure we'll see more of it.
Yeah, certainly a unique thing.
Absolutely,
please do.
It has happened in the Premier League before. Brentford against Wolves exactly a year ago tomorrow.
Is
Thanks
that
very
right? A Bible of knowledge is our Belvers. Moving from drones to the big talking point of the second half, James Ward-Prowse seemed to put Southampton into the lead, but Belvers VAR had different ideas.
Still not having it.
You're not having it?
No, Saints have scored.
Tell us your thoughts on that.
So it's all down to Moy Elyounoussi. When the ball comes over, Kyle Walker-Peters, who we raved about before the game, again, wonderful effort. When he switched from the left to the right and then he put in a cross, it was blocked, picked it up again, put it in, and then Elyounoussi, who's come on, because it was a wonderful triple substitution by the manager as well again. I love it when substitutions change games, and this one, it very nearly did. It was only 90 seconds after we'd already seen one good attack from Southampton, and then Elyounoussi, one of the players who's come on, he was up against Jacob Ramsey. Now, he's put his arm out, maybe manoeuvred Ramsey a little bit, certainly didn't sort of go at him or anything like that, and Ramsey's gone down. The ball then breaks. There's some good work by, I think, Mara and Armstrong to get the ball back to Prowse, who gets a deflected goal. Now, when it's slowed down, and this is one of the big problems with VAR, is that things always look worse. It looks like there's more contact when it's in slow motion. And the referee was called over to the monitor and he decided it was a foul. For me, there were, Elyounoussi had his arm out, there was a bit of contact, but as much as anything, he was stopping Ramsey backing into him, he was sort of holding his position. It certainly wasn't a you get out the way. There was maybe that, like I said, to be sort of cruel, maybe he manoeuvred him out the way a little bit. It's a contact sport. That was not, for me, a foul by any stretch on any area of the pitch, let alone that. For that to be ruled out, I thought was very cruel.
Dean, the fans voiced their displeasure when they saw the VAR decision on the big screen. You saw it in real time and from multiple angles on our monitor. What did you make of it? Do you think that goal should have stood?
I do. I agree with Paul. It's a goal in my eyes. I'd be disappointed if Ramsey was a teammate of mine, because he needs to be stronger in that position, especially when you're defending your goal. You can't get pushed off like that and hope that the referee's going to give a foul and hope to give a decision in your favour. Elyounoussi has the right to use his body, use his arm to try and win the ball or protect the ball or challenge for the ball. Ramsey doesn't have the ball under control, so for me it's 100% not a foul. So it's huge disappointment, and the frustration is always with me. If the referee gets called to the monitor, what's the point? He's already been told it's the wrong decision. He's just going over for effect, in my opinion. And what I don't like football being played in reflection. Just allow the referee to see the game in real time. He hasn't given a free kick, so he's seen something or not seen something that he believes is a goal. He's given the goal, and then he's told by higher powers that he should change his decision. That's disappointing for me, because it takes the excitement away from the game. We'll get to that stage. We do have it sometimes where players don't celebrate. They'll score and stand and wait to see if the goal was given. We saw the stadium erupt. We were all jumping around, and that's football. That's what we all enjoy and what we get excited about. When that's taken away and then the Villa fans are celebrating it's getting cancelled, I don't like that really. So for me, It's a goal. I think it changes the game. I think at that point, like I say, Southampton had changed the shape. They'd had more control of the ball, and I don't think they would have conceded from that point, and I believe they would have gone on to win the game. So huge disappointment. You can't blame referees. He's made a decision. That happens in football, but I just think it's disappointment that football gets, in the modern games, get played on reflection.
There was more contact up here at the start of the day when me and Dean were jostling for position next to you two.
Oh, it's tricky, isn't it? But let's move on to Ollie Watkins' goal there. Now, he, of course, gave Villa the lead. Another set-piece goal conceded, and that's 4 now, Belvers, in 4 Premier League games.
Yeah, it was a silly, clumsy challenge by Sekumara, I think, another one of the substitutions who came on to give away the free kick. Douglas Luiz is very good over the ball, we know that. The big disappointment is that all 3 centre-backs were around Ollie Watkins, and yet Watkins essentially had a free header. And from that distance, 6 to 8 yards out, whatever it was, he was never going to miss. And set pieces have been a real problem this season, defending set pieces, and it really does suck the life out of you when you know you're struggling for a clean sheet, when you're one mistake away from losing a game, because games are so tight at the moment. It can be really tough, and when you've had the blow at the other end from the goal being disallowed, to then be the architects of your own downfall down there, because a clean sheet would have been a huge boost today as well, going into the cup games that we've got coming up, and then that run of league fixtures again, which can see Southampton climb the table and out of the bottom 3 and everything like that. Set pieces have been a real problem all season, probably even going back further than that, and it seems that they're clearly working on them, and yet for some reason they're still making these mistakes, and there will be huge disappointment in there. I think the attention from Nathan Jones and everything in the post-match interviews and press conferences, that'll focus on the goal that was ruled out. Inside that dressing room, there'll be much more focus on that defensive display, because they were pretty good defensively. My heart was in my mouth after 10 minutes when Lianco got booked for a pretty silly challenge way up the pitch. He was immense after that. Never looked like picking up a second yellow card. Duya Chaleta Carr, Salisu in the middle. They were all putting in tremendous challenges, organised very well. They seem to be working well as a unit. That really is improving that defensive line. That 4 at the back, 3 at the back as it changed to second half. To concede from a set play like that again is a real big disappointment.
Nathan Jones did try to make changes. Dean Belvers already said he liked that triple substitution. We saw Gineppo and Mara both have chances towards the end. What did you make of the subs and I suppose the tactics overall today?
Well, like Belvers said, what I like about Nathan is proactive. He won't wait. He'll try and change the game himself. He did that at half time by changing the shape and went to a 3-5-2 to try and get 2 forwards up the pitch. 3 midfield players in the middle of the park to get a little bit more control on the ball, and I think that worked. And then after going 1-0 down, he went to a 4-3-3 with the substitutions. Opportunities were created, but it was always going to be a tight game because Aston Villa are good. They're organised defensively. They look strong now, and that's down to the manager and that they've got a world-class goalkeeper who's just won the World Cup, and he made an amazing save. He really did that. His reactions to that, to save that with his foot. It's a goal all day long with probably 90% of the goalkeepers in the Premier League. So they tried, and they're trying at the moment. And defensively, Southampton looked okay today. You can judge players and criticise players. Diallo could be better on the ball, but he does so much without the ball. So you've got to be patient and work on these things. He will get better with the ball, but when regaining the ball, getting second balls, he was very good at today. So defence is getting protected a little bit more, which is an improvement, is a step forward. It's now creating more chances and scoring more goals, because at the moment we're probably creating 2 or 3 chances a game, and we've got to take one of them, and that's difficult at this level. So look, there's improvements, but the disappointment is conceding from those set plays, and there has to be some personal responsibility there. I mean, it's better watching it live here because you can really watch it. There needs to be a bigger voice in there. There needs to be, where the goal was disallowed for Southampton, the central defenders in the 3 in the middle there need to use their body. Watkins can't just have a little bit of movement and get a free run. He should be pushed off with the arm. There should be no gap for him to get through, and that has come from just protecting your area if you're protecting zones, or if you're man-to-man marking, he doesn't get away, because those three boys are strong boys and he shouldn't get that half a yard. So that's a disappointment. But young team, improving, just have to keep backing them and be patient.
Well, putting today's result to one side, attention now shifts to our Carabao Cup semi-final clash with Newcastle on Tuesday. Belvis, your early thoughts ahead of that one?
It's going to be tough, but you're never going to get an easy game in a semi-final, are you? I think Newcastle are a very good team, obviously in great form. They've got a lot of players as well. But, we saw today spirit from Southampton. We saw options as well. We talked before the game about how good it was that, you've got options in the starting 11 to switch things up in-game. But then also, you've got 5 substitutions to make in a match now. And all 5 coming on today had an impact. And we haven't mentioned Romeo Lavia. It's one of the first times I've seen him in the flesh since his very early games here. And, I love watching him. Very aggressive in sort of closing people down, laying down gauntlets. Come on then, what are you going to do? You could see players have second thoughts, or what am I going to do? And then he nicks the ball. And, yes, chance creation is a bit of an issue at the moment. But that defence is getting more solid all the time. I think the Carabao Cup or League Cup owes Southampton one as well after the final 5-6 years ago. So, I'm looking forward to Tuesday. It's going to be even colder than it is now, which I'm not looking forward to.
Don't say that.
But I think it is a huge improvement. I said before the game, I wasn't here for the City game. I was here for Brighton and Forest. My word, we are streets ahead of where we were there. Even the Lincoln game, I was here for that. That was a win. It was nothing like any of those performances here today. There are genuine reasons for feeling positive ahead going into those cup games and for the rest of the Premier League season, I think.
Yeah, Dean, Newcastle are riding high in the league at the moment, but as Southampton proved in the last round of the cup, I know it is over both legs, but they can go toe-to-toe with the best.
They can, and it's always interesting when it's 2 legs. How do you approach it? It's a home leg. Do you go after it and try and attack it and try and take an aggregate lead into the second leg? Or do you consolidate and try and not concede? So it's an interesting one. Newcastle are a good team. They've had a fantastic season. They score goals, and defensively they're strong as well. So it's going to be a tough game, but if you can beat Man City, you can beat anyone. So I look forward to it. I'm sure the players will. And you can forget about the league form. You can forget what position you are in the league and just isolate the game. Look, we're playing Newcastle. We can beat them. We're capable of beating anyone. Southampton has showed that this season here, beating Chelsea here, beating Man City here. So, of course, we can beat Newcastle.
Love the confidence. Belvis, Dean, a pleasure to have your company as always. And of course, the 4 of us will be back again, as we've mentioned, as we welcome Newcastle for the first leg in that semi-final Carabao Cup fixture. We're looking forward to that. Make sure you join us once again for another Saints Live. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff, so we'll be live from 6:45. Do join us then.
Bye for now.